Okay, so let's start with some coding. We just recently finished this game in our lesson. It's the movement game that you just played with me, and we added some new rules as well after playing this game. I want to now guide you through some Python code, and we will see how we can actually code this game in Python. So, the first thing that I want you to do is if you're on a school laptop, I would really suggest that you create a new folder on the desktop and name it as something, let's say MYP3 coding projects or whatever you want to name it. Okay. This folder, I would really like, once you're done with coding, I would suggest that at the end of each lesson, you should upload this on your Google Drive so that you have access to all your code. And then every time you come to the lesson and you use any laptop, you'll be able to see all the code that you created. So, on a school laptop, after creating this blank folder, please go to the search on top right and then look for this software which is called Visual Studio Code. This is the environment in which we actually write all the code, whether it's JavaScript, whether it's Python, or any other language that we are going to learn. Okay, so here it is, and what I'm going to do, I will first of all open the new folder that I just created. So I'll go to File, Open Folder, and I'm gonna open MYP3 coding folder, which is blank because we have not written any code right now. If you see this kind of warning, just say yes, I trust the authors, and then we can go ahead with it. So the first thing, you can see the folder is out here, and now we can actually create a new file here with this button. It's called new file, and you can name this as project1.py. Py stands for Python. If you don't add the right extension, then it's not really going to use Python debugger to sort of find your bugs and all of that. So .py is really, really important. So once you're done with it, it will create this kind of blank file for you. All right. And then we can start writing our code out here. So the first thing in the movement game was that we want to find out what was the, like, how many claps did the teacher really make. Okay, but before that, we can actually give some sort of general instructions in Python. So you just print something out in Python. You say welcome to the movement game. Okay, this is just like for the player to know what we are doing. Then the next thing that I can print for the person who's gonna play is just say follow the teacher's actions. Okay, so you can say that. And then to start the game, of course, the first thing that I want to know is how many claps actually the teacher did. How many times did the teacher clap? So I'm going to say claps. Okay, and I don't know how many, so I'm going to add int, which stands for integer. So it's like 2 claps, 3 claps, 4 claps. So if it's a number that you're asking for the input, then you have to put int. Int stands for integer, and you say input. So you want to know how many claps actually did you hear. So how many times did the teacher clap? Okay, so this is a question, and the answer to this question will be saved inside this. Okay, when you say something like that, when you ask for inputs and you are getting some kind of response, that response needs to be saved somewhere in the memory. Okay, so this, you can imagine, this is like a memory or a variable, like you say in maths, you say x is equals to 5 or y is equals to 7 or whatever. So you use variables to store the numbers. It's the same out here. So whatever, how many times the teacher clapped, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever is the number, it gets stored in the claps variable. Okay, now the next thing that I want to know, actually I'm actually coding this game. So if the teacher claps once and says go, so we also need to make sure that whether we hear the go or not. Okay, so I'm gonna say set go, which is another variable. Okay, and this is not really an integer, it's just input. Okay, so I'm just gonna say input. Did the teacher say go? Okay, so the answer would be yes or no. It's not a number answer, that's why I have not put integer input. It's gonna be just like a yes or a no. Okay, so did the teacher say yes or no? And then the last thing that I would like to know is input. Did the teacher whistle? Okay, that answer also is going to be as a yes or a no. Okay, so that done. Okay, then we can actually start coding it. So if the claps is equals to 1, which means the teacher just clapped once and did nothing. else. Okay, so the rule of my game is if the teacher claps once, then the students jump. That's the rule. Okay, so I'm going to say print you jump. Okay, so that is what's gonna happen. According to the rule number 2, if the teacher claps twice, then the students spin. Okay, so how do you say if? You can't say if again. You have to say else if. So if claps is equals to 1, you jump. Else if. So how do you say else if in Python? You just say short form. You say elif or else if. If the claps is equals to 2, print you spin. Okay, that's according to the rule of our game. And the last thing is else, like if the claps is not 1 and not 2, then else students freeze. Okay, so if nothing of the other first two conditions are met, then we just say you freeze. Okay, so that's done, but there are some more conditions into our game. Okay, there are these conditions. If the teacher claps once and says go, which means we have two things now. All two things, if these are two true, then they have to hop. Okay, so then we are going to add something like this. We're going to say if claps is equals to 1 and this one said go, which is here, said underscore go is equals to yes. Okay, so if the teacher had clapped once and also had said go, then the students are supposed to hop, right? And the last thing that I'm gonna add, if the teacher claps once or whistles, so one of the things has to be true, then you have to shout adventure. Okay, so if claps is equals to 1 or whistled, sorry for my typing errors, whistled is equals to yes, then you just say you shout adventure. Okay, and that's the end of the game. So all that this game is going to do is going to ask you some questions like how many claps did the teacher say go, did she whistle. Based on the data that you collect here in the variables, you just have these conditions. So whichever condition is met with, you are going to play according to that game, right? So I save it by just command S. It will save the game. And if you want to run the game and see how this works, you can click on this on the top right. It says run Python file. And then it says, welcome to the movement game. Follow the teacher's actions. How many times did the teacher clap? So I will say 1. Did the teacher say go? Maybe no, really. Did the teacher whistle? No. So it says you jump, and then it also says you shout adventure. Okay, why that happened is because if you see the game here, I said the teacher clapped once, so it says you jump. Okay, and then it also is here if claps was 1 or whistled is yes. So although I said that she did not whistle, but still this part of the game is still true. Okay, so it also prints this part of it. Okay, so if claps is equals to 1 or whistled is yes, one of it is true, then it shouts adventure. Okay, let's run it one more time and see. So how many times did the teacher clap? I would say 1. Did the teacher say go? Yes. Okay, did the teacher whistle? No. So you jump. Okay, because there was 1 clap. So here did the teacher say go? Yes, so you hop. Okay, and because the claps was 1, it also you have to also say adventure. Okay, so based on whatever conditions are true, the game is gonna work that way. All right, so that was a short tutorial for you to just understand how if and else ifs are done. Okay, out here I would really want you to bring your attention to this part. So out of here, when you have something like if, elif and else, which means one of it is gonna be true always. Okay, whenever you see just ifs, of course it will go to each and every condition and checks which is true. Okay, like for example, if says if claps is equals to 1, it will print you jump, and then the program is not gonna check these two conditions. Okay, because the first time when the claps was 1, this was already true. So when this is true, it does not need to check elif and else. Okay, it automatically jumps to line number 15 and starts checking, oh, whether the said go was yes or not. If it was, so you hop, and then it goes to line number 18 and it checks the rest of the conditions. Okay, so whenever you have structure like if, elif, and else, it just, the moment it meets the true condition, the rest of the code is skipped. Okay, now if you want this game to run forever, like you just don't want to end it like that and you want to keep on running it forever, so we have something called while true. I can just add it here. So I can say while true, which means while the game is running and it's just true. The only thing that I have to change is that each of these lines after while true, I have to just give them one extra space. Okay, this is called indentation in Python, and this is really important because this shows the structure or the hierarchy, or I would say the branching, where each condition is supposed to be, where each print is supposed to be, which print is a part of which condition, and all of that. So just by adding one line called while true, this whole code is gonna run forever. So if you run this now, let me show you. It says, how many times did the teacher clap? One. Did the teacher say go? Yes. Did the teacher whistle? Yes. So it shows you, you jump, you hop, you shout, adventure. And then it begins again. How many times did the teacher clap? Okay, this time two. No, no. So you spin. The third time again. How many times did the teacher clap? Three times. Did the teacher say go? No, no. You freeze. And it keeps on going. So while true is a condition which runs as a forever loop. And you can even use that in your games. Okay, so that's about it. Last challenge for you is that you have to add two more rules to the game and you have to code it. So that's your extension challenge. You do this and then you add two more rules to the game by yourself and add it into the code.